So, when we're talking about creating truly sales enabled distributors, and we're talking about doing it by reducing friction, one of the major ways to do it is by elevating the amount of knowledge that the sales rep, the distributor or dealer, has in relation to that of the buyer. And so, here on this little model right here, we're basically looking at on the left, the sales rep, and on the right, the buyer. And the thing that happens that we have to be sort of cognizant of is that the buyer and the sales rep bring into the conversation, the sales process, a certain level of knowledge. And so if we talk about what the buyer's typically bringing to the table, well, I mean, it used to be maybe they were kind of more on the low to medium side, and that was kind of yesteryear. But these days, they are a lot more informed than ever before. So the level of knowledge they're bringing is kind of more in the medium level and possibly even a little bit higher than that. And so that's what they're bringing to the conversation. Now, if a sales rep has a similar level of knowledge and kind of is operating over here from a position of medium or so product knowledge, then what happens is this is the realm of the peers. Okay, so this is what we would call the peer zone, right? Because the buyer's coming in with medium knowledge. The sales rep has medium knowledge. They can have a good conversation. They can enjoy some quality Q&A. Buyer has some questions. Sales rep is able to answer most of them. Maybe not all of them. Maybe not delivering the true level of business insight that we would see with an expert, but it's certainly a worthy, respectful, courteous conversation that goes back and forth, and the buyer learns something, the sales rep performs well, and probably most of the time the buyer is going to feel pretty satisfied with that. The problem we have today is that most of the sales reps out there are not bringing that level of knowledge. In fact, a lot of them have these pretty big gaps. And so they are down here in the low range of knowledge. And so when the buyer brings a moderate level of product knowledge and has done research and has been looking online and has been doing all of this and comes in and the sales rep doesn't really know the products that well, then what happens is we get into an imbalance between what the buyer knows and what the sales rep can bring to the table. And this is not a peer relationship or a peer conversation, right? So back in the past, we're saying this is a peer type of conversation. Instead, we are talking, this is the order taker problem. Because the buyer comes in, has done research, knows a fair amount, sales rep can't compete, and simply says, hey, look, you seem to know what you want. I'm going to go get the order form, right? And so that is the problem there. Now, what happens when the sales rep can actually deliver a high level of knowledge, and today that's a relatively small number of reps who can do this, but when they can, right, they are bringing something totally different to the table. When they're up here and they're bringing this high level of product knowledge, then what that is doing is whoops, wrong color. That is creating what we are going to call the expert relationship, right? And that is what we want. So we are going to call this the realm of the expert, right? When the buyer comes in, has that good level of knowledge, but the sales rep can go above that, can bring true business insight, educate the buyer about the market using some tools and things like that. And that's where whoops, again, I'm off with my tools here. The sales rep is bringing that expertise, delivering insights on the market, on their business, and importantly, is able to do that with the use of the proper tools. But how are we going to get there? I mean, if what I hear and what everyone out in the market is telling me, which is only maybe 5 to 15% of the distributors are high performing, then what are we going to do about it? Well, it comes back to when we come down here to the bottom of the screen here. It's all about the training that the manufacturer, you as the manufacturer, is providing to your sales rep. And so that's on two sides. It's product knowledge. Whoops. It is product knowledge training. So how well do Goodness gracious. How well does the rep know the product, and how well do they know the sales process, and how trained are they to guide the buyer through that process? Because once you train up the rep and send them forth to do the sales process, they are kind of out there. They're kind of out there on an island, right? I mean, they are out there with the customers every single day. And the question is, what type of interaction is that going to be? Is it going to be order taker? Is it going to be peer? Or is it going to be expert? And the thing that we can do if we have the proper tools, the proper training, and we create this kind of, we take away a lot of the friction in terms of, education, both of product knowledge and in terms of sales training, what happens is we create reps who are more self sufficient, and even if they are not truly experts, they can at least act and behave like experts in front of the customer. And that's really what we're going for.